they haven't given any guidance. I'm not looking for them to come, quite frankly, to give a fine. What I guess we're looking for is some pamphlets, some education, some material, because our workers, this is all new to them. The only visit we had 2 surprise visits last week from the SLA. And my assumption is because we sell a lot of liquor that they're coming to us. They came in looking for the workers to be wearing their masks. Not only, they want to make sure that the masks are over the face, not below the chin, as the governor was saying. So I found that to be very helpful. They insisted to call the owner because I guess that my name is on the liquor license. So they got me on the phone. It was a scare for everyone. Of course, everyone had a mask on. We had one employee that was drinking water and it was on the chin. But I think they came there to essentially to try to raise awareness and to get everyone to, to do the right thing. So that was very good. But other than that, I think some more guidance to restaurants on what to do would be important, but in a way, so it's not perceived as a revenue generator for the city, but as a public health campaign, because everything seems to be always about revenue generation and not about assistance. I'll mention that. I have a few other things, and then I don't know if you want to respond to them.
Oh, go ahead. Eddie, it's very helpful.
Sure. The other issue is financial assistance. We were fortunate to receive the PPP program from the federal government, but I think a lot of restaurants were not able to do that. And the city has, again, offered no support. There's been one program that the mayor put out for a $30,000 grant. It is the most, by far, confusing grant I've ever read. It doesn't really make any sense. And my assumption is anyone who's going to apply for it is not going to be able to comply with it based upon what they're looking for. So, and I couldn't figure it out. I mean, I would need to hire an attorney to read through this stuff. So the mayor and the financial assistance for the restaurants, there's been nothing. And I know that the city is having its own financial issues, but there has to be some way of giving some financial support. In fact, I just paid a $600 tax bill to the city of New York for the liquor license. The mayor originally wanted us to pay for the sidewalk cafe that we had, and then I had just about sending that check in, and I was told not to send it in, and then they revoked that. So there's been no sign of any support coming from the mayor and City Hall other than this sidewalk cafe, allowing us to put tables on the streets. That's been wonderful. I think that's a great thing. I fear with the tables on the streets, everyone is doing it in a different way. I know the city's put out guidelines on what to do. What I fear will happen is that once the city realizes restaurants are starting to make a little bit of money, they're going to come out and give fines, and they're going to come out and start giving fines. I think that's the wrong approach. I think that what they need to do now is come out and they need to, just like the fire department does it, just like the SLA did it, come out and tell us what to do better before they start the fines, because everybody's doing this differently. So someone needs to come out and hold the restaurants by the hand and say, we're not here to fine you. We're here to give you a warning to say you're missing a barrier, or this needs to be like this, because everyone's got it. It's like a little bit of everyone at their own right now. So I think that could be useful. If that was to happen in a way that would be, again, not about generating fines, but about kind of holding the restaurants by the hand before the fines start coming. And then the only other thing I would say is that if you can do anything about the rain, we know that you have some magic powers, and every time it rains, we got to close out. So, but I guess that's.
I wish I could.
So, other than that.
I literally pray, Eddie, I pray every day for no rain, just for you guys. I really do, because I
thank you very much.
So much hope. But listen, I will follow up on the other issue. I think is you want to be able to stay as late as possible into the fall, because you have put so much into this. That's the other, I think, aspect.
Yeah, because I saw it goes till August, which is like doesn't make any sense.
No, so we're also pushing for that, just so you know. But I will follow up on the. Education, no fines. I'm 100% with you. And that's what I hope when I was talking earlier, I hope I was sort of hinting at that.
Yes, you were. Yeah. But
thank you so much.
Yeah.
You're a rock star, as I say, really.
Thank you. Thanks. We're trying. So it's not easy.
No, I know. You're a rock star.
So Gale, there's a couple of questions here. Whoever is in this, I put the question mark. Someone just raised their hand. I don't know who that is. Did you... Robert, I see you.
Yeah, it's me, Bob Schwartz. Hi.
Are you also this double question mark down below? Is that you in that box?
No, it is not. You see my face right next to you. At least I see my face right next to you.
I do. Please, Robert, you have the floor. Thank you.
Thank you so much. First of all, I apologize. I didn't get on until 10:20, so I missed, I'm sure, a lot of very important things. So forgive me, but I'd like to say thank you so much for what you're doing. I own NS Low. We have 3 shoe stores. We just closed our 4th one.
Yep.
It's live. We are at 32nd and Park. We've been since 1909. We specialize in orthopedic and comfort shoes.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah, appreciate you
You
very
know,
much.
I've been to your store. Yes.
I know you're a Harry's girl, so I understand.
No, I go to your store also.
Oh,
But yes, I am a Harry's
thank
girl,
you
but I
so
go to
much.
your store also. But I
Well,
only go to your 2 stores. That's what you know.
Thank you
Go
so
ahead.
much. Appreciate it. We also have one in Little Neck, Queens. So,
Go ahead.
A couple of comments. First of all, number one for me is business interruption insurance. I know nobody on this call has any power over that, but for me, that's the ultimate lifeline that would save many of us. The fact that it's not covered is just a crime. We got cheated at Sandy. We got cheated in every single thing. I'm in business 46 years of the 11 years of NSLO. So I've been through many business pandemics in this series. So that's number one. The second thing is we must find a way to promote the community to go back into retail stores and stop shopping online. I mean, we're 95% retail, 5% online. People need to fit it. We've had very good success, people wearing their masks and everything else because we're sitting right across from them within 2 feet of each other. So it's complex, but for the first month and a half, it's really just been, people have been very cooperative and
Good.
You know, once in a while somebody walks in and doesn't follow the rules, but it's been so the other thing is really the consumer affairs issue, fines and things I wanted to cover for a second. SBS is the lifeline, small business services. They do a fantastic job. If we could get the city to say, when you go into a place that needs remediation, give them a connection to SBS, force them to say, contact SBS, we're going to give you 30 days to mitigate. They will come in and show you how to do best practices, because we got a fine for having a price list in which we had men priced one way and women, repairs. The men's repair price list and the women's repair price list said men's and said women's. It was really men's shoes and women's shoes because the men's shoes were actually more expensive in terms of, we got a fine for it. Had we known anything about it, we've been in business a long time, we didn't need that fine. Now I called immediately, thanks to the mayor's wife who actually put me in touch. And they came into each of our stores, they showed us how to do better practices. They went through the lineup of things that need to be done. And that's a great bridge for all of us small businesses. So I really wanted to urge that there needs to be a bridge between the visit and the fine and give us a chance to mitigate. I think that's the most important thing. The last thing I want to say, our business went down 97%. And I share the numbers because you have to know. We did $2.5 million in the second quarter of 2019. We did 150,000 in the second quarter of 2020. And we've still had the same 360,000 in rent, the same all other vendor expenses to pay. There just needs to be a new bridge to keep us going. Otherwise, it's going to be impossible to stay in business. Thank you for listening.
You're so wonderful, and I could not agree more. But the fine you got was before COVID, right? For the price list. Okay, because that should never happen. Hopefully, we can. If we have a new normal, in my book, it would be education first, way before anything else. That might be a new normal for all businesses that are struggling, and should be for the new normal. But thank you as always.
If I may make one more point, because you just such an important subject. We don't sit down at the table with the powers that be in this city. We're left outside the room. This is made without sitting down with the leaders. I'm on the board of Manhattan Chamber. I played a very active role. I was out there helping when Second Avenue construction took place. And we're willing to do anything to help, but we don't have a voice. You're our only voice, and we need to be able to discuss it at the ground floor level, maybe even get into the weeds of the issues in very specific, detailed way before our mayor, who claims to be one of my best customers, goes in his own direction. So that's my list for this morning. Thanks again.
Well, you're wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you, Robert. So because of the time, I want to be cognizant of that. I'd like Lawrence to just chime in for maybe like 5 minutes. He wanted to go ahead and just offer his services and how he can be reached to the community so that then there can be further dialogue outside of the call. 1 second, I'm going to unmute you. 1 second. That should work.
Hi, good morning. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, my name is Lawrence Mensah. I'm an account manager with NYC Business Solutions of the Department of Small Business Services. What we do is we provide free business services to small businesses located in the 5 boroughs of New York City. And we have a couple of resources available for businesses to kind of access in this time of reopening. So I will share my screen and discuss a little bit of the various resources. Lillian, could you please allow me to share my screen?
Yes.
Yeah, so as we wait for Lillian, I would like to say, as the borough president mentioned, everyone needs assistance or some kind of help. Eddie also was concerned about compliance with, there should be way of chance for you to really be compliant before the fines come in. At SVS, we do have a team called Small Business Advocates. What we do is, if you really want to be sure that you're doing the right thing, we can assign an officer to you. He will actually work with you and make sure that you are in compliance with all the reopening guidelines before any kind of inspection of fault-finding inspectors come over. So we come in there to help you set up, make sure that you are supposed to be 10 meters from the curb, you are supposed to leave this space, the freezer needs to be there, all those compliance. We help you be in line with them before the real fault-finding inspectors come over to kind of issue fines. So I will put my email out there and my telephone number out there. You can reach out to me. I will connect you with the small business advocate at SVS. They'll reach out to you, schedule an appointment with you and come over, or it will be, if it's online or virtual, they will actually help you to be in compliance with all the reopening guidelines for restaurants, basically, and other face-to-face services.
Thank you, Lauren.
Okay, so I'm going to share the screen so that you know what kind of services, what kind of resources we have available. We do have the hotline where you can always call and ask for information, which is 888-727-4692. I'll share this presentation with Lillian so she can share with everybody, so you can take your time, go through it, and reach out to me anytime. We also have the face covering and PPE supply directory on our site, where you can go there and find out which supplier is actually giving PPEs for free to small businesses. We have financial assistance. Eddie also mentioned the financial assistance where he had a PPP. We were also working with the federal SBA with the PPP and the idle loans. But then since it's over, we're also helping with finances on the small business continuity loan, which some businesses had access to it, but currently it's on hold till further notice. There are other incentives like the commercial lease assistance, tax, debt, and utility reliefs, incentive and cost savings. We do have marketing support, regulatory guidelines, challenges, and employee support. So we have all these resources available on our website. You just go in there, tap in, and our advice to make good use of it. And you will have my email. If you need any assistance, you can just quickly shoot me an email or give me a call, and we will direct you to the right team to provide you with the best services from SBS.
Thank you so much, Lawrence. That's terrific.
Yeah, no problem. So if anybody has any question, I'm available. So I will be here for the next 5 minutes. Well, I need to jump onto another presentation.
I have a quick question.
Okay.
Sure, Madeline, thank you.
Hello?
Yeah, Gale, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yep, I can hear you.
Yeah, so you guys are great coming on the call, especially Robert and Eddie, because it gives us a perspective from retail
Yes.
and restaurants, which is great. I'm someone from a restaurateur myself. I'm a trustee of the Murray Hill Neighbor Association and co-chair with Lily. But what I'm finding after walking on 3rd Avenue and going and asking the restaurateurs, are you getting a break from your landlord? And they keep telling me that no, they're afraid to ask because they just say there's no way it's happening, and that's crazy. No, we're not going to get any assistance, and our landlords is not giving us a break. So I'm just wondering if the NYC does landlords break and they pass on to the restaurateurs or the retailers, because like Robert pointed out, these they're still paying. They're not making any. They're taking a cut on what they're making, and they're still paying the same rent.
I know. Well, I mean, Lawrence should answer. Lawrence should answer, and Eddie can answer. The answer that I have gotten, this is a very common question, and the way, there's a couple of things. One is, sorry, go ahead. One is that we are often called upon to call the owners, and I've done that and tried to push them. Sometimes I call REBNY, sometimes I call other landlord organizations to try to push to be doing what many owners are doing, which is to negotiate. So that's the best I can answer. That's why I think it's good to walk. I'd be glad to do it. You, Diane, just tell me when you want us to walk up and down with the community board, whatever avenues you want. I think it's not a bad idea. And you do get a sense, we'd be glad to do it. That would give us a sense of who we need to call.
Okay.
I also feel that it's, at the end of the day, it's the landlord that has to be smart about making a decision and having an empty space versus an occupied space. But having owned property myself, not this particular restaurant that I rent out from a landlord, the real estate tax bills just came through, and the real estate taxes have gone up exponentially. So most of the time, so if the city can provide some sort of real estate tax incentive to the landlords with respect to, if they do certain things, they can get some sort of rebate this year on their real estate tax. It might be too late to get that done, but it's just ironic that this year, I mean, the real estate taxes I have between some buildings between 25% increases, and so that also puts landlords in a position and stretches them. And then for the restaurants, the other major cost for restaurants, it's the hidden cost that no one knows about, is Con Ed with respect to gas and electric. There has been nothing that Con Ed has done. In fact, they offered to allow credit card payments. I tried to do it for the restaurant. They said that was restricted for residential tenants, residential owners. So Con Ed is doing nothing, and our Con Ed bill is about 1/3 of what our rent is. just because we use gas and a lot of gas for the kitchen. So Con Ed continues to be a disaster, in my view, for small businesses, and they're doing nothing. And I just wanted to mention, just briefly, since I'm speaking, we haven't spoken about the issue of homelessness and crime, and it's a big issue that we have for our restaurant, and being on 32nd and 2nd. It's very hard for us to move, certain people out. When we call the police, they don't want to get involved. We're supposed to be social distancing the sidewalks. We have people sitting right in front of our window. We can't move them. There doesn't seem to be any. It's like everyone for themselves and figure it out. And it's a challenge when you're running a small business trying to serve on the sidewalk, and you just have like so many people, many of them who look very ill, and quite frankly, and need help, and they're on drugs and that kind of thing. Anyway, I don't think I'm saying anything you don't know. So thank you.
No, I appreciate that, Eddie. I have heard that a lot. Let me follow up on your location.
Yeah, and to also add to that point, Gale, what Eddie was talking about, we recently got some email dialogue that, there was some complaints about social distancing was not happening at some of the restaurants, and they didn't know who to reach out to because they said it wasn't an NYPD matter, it was a DOH matter. And in that sense, and if it has to do with the streets and what they're allocating to the restaurants, that was a DOT matter. So they didn't really know what kind of enforcement each one of these different government offices could implement, and how would they be able to reach out to them. So it felt like it was a passing of the buck, and people didn't really know how to get to the right person. So that would also be helpful if maybe that could be outlined for restaurants and other small business owners.
We need the mediation. There's you call 311, you get a mediator. But that this is very, very helpful. Thank you. I'm on it.
I'd like to. Can I participate at this moment, if I may? I want to help with this lease negotiations, landlord negotiations. I've negotiated with my landlords for a long, long time, and this, of course, was the ultimate stress test. Very interesting, some of the results, and I think you'd be pleased to hear some of them no. Half rent, and I got a termination from one of my landlords. I needed to get out. There was no way I could continue. If I stayed, it was part of the bleeding to death. And they gave me a half rent for the 3 months. They took my security deposit, but I did get out, and that stopped the continuum. That was June 30th. On my big store in the neighborhood in Murray Hill, my 32nd and Park store. It's almost scary to share with you this. We were paying $65,000. I'm sorry. We was paying $65,000 a month, and we had gone from 6 million to 4 million. So, and in shoes, you can't really work over 10% cost and expect to have any profits. So we were really in big trouble. And we just got the real estate tax bill like you did. And I think it was about a 25%. It was a shock. So we just said to our landlord, we're leaving. Now I have a custom workshop. We make shoes, we do shoe repair, all these things that takes a good 1,000 square feet, the state-of-art equipment and what have you. How am I going to get that out of there? Extraction and air filtrations. So I said, you know what, we just got to go. There's nothing we can do. We're going to leave in the middle of the night, July 30th. We'll be out. We have a good guy guarantee. We were supposed to honor for a much longer period of time, but we said we're going to put it in effect at May 1st, since we were closed anyway, because we had a 3-month guarantee, and we were going to pay them with our security deposit. They weren't too happy with that. And the rest of it, we would work and pay them once we got our whatever additional funding we could get. Well, they wanted to keep us in business. They didn't want an empty building. So they said, well, we have to at least cover our overheads. I said, well, I'm paying $120,000 in real estate alone. I'll tell you what, instead of the 800 and some odd thousand I'm paying you, I'll give you 200,000, and I'll give it to you. My lease is up the end of July 2021. I'll give you $200,000, all in, including real estate taxes. They accepted the deal. Now, what they did is they took my security deposit, 140,000. They applied it to all the money I owed them for April, May, June, and July, because an empty store is of no value. No one's moving back in.
Right.
So it's an amazing story because it allowed me to not leave at the end of July. It allows me to stay, and that's a big deal. In my other real estate lease, it's an individual who lives off of the real estate income, the rental income, and she lives in France. So I really couldn't move her very far, but I offered half rent. She wanted 10% off. I came back with I said to her, you're going to have to come up with the very lowest number. She came back with a 25% reduction for 1 year. I have a 15-year lease, 14 years left on it. She put the remaining balance that I would owe on the last 2 years to pay half of it each month for 2 years. So I've got 13 more years to have to get done. I got the rent down. You have to fight. You just have to be a warrior. There is no shortcut. This is the shortcut. Bobby Schwartz's shortcut. You want to get from point A to point B, never give up. But we have to teach the retailers how to fight for what they need to fight for. And we have to stand together. I'm actually planning to do some webinars with the Manhattan Chamber on this subject. We can get in the weeds with other small businesses. But I thought you should know that there is an opportunity here to fight back, at least with your landlord. There is nothing else. But thanks.
Thank you, Robert. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Robert. Dan, I need to go. I'm sorry to give out the library books. But thank you very much. I put my information in the chat.
Yes, thank you. And really, thank you for your time and effort. Thanks for putting in your contact info. Great work. Keep it up. Stay safe, everyone. Support local.
And let me know if you want to walk on the street. I'd be glad to go with you. Okay.
I would love to. I'll reach out to you and I can organize it if someone else wants to join in.
Great. Thank you so much. All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Well.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Goodbye, my friends. Best of luck to you all. See you soon.
Thanks for your help. We really appreciate it.
Pleasure.
Have a great day, all.
Eddie, you got everything you need before I go? Good. Lawrence, thank you again.
No problem.